On October 22, 1999, at Yosemite National Park in California, veteran parachutist Jan Davis arrived determined to make a statement. Davis, along with several other base jumpers, were protesting the National Park Service's strict ban on base jumping, arguing that regulated jumps would actually reduce illegal attempts and improve safety. And to prove their point, the group planned a series of highly publicly controlled demonstration jumps. But the moment Davis stepped off the 3,200-foot cliff, her protest took a devastating turn, as in front of cameras her parachute would malfunction, leading to this final video being the last time she was seen alive.
3, 2, 1, see ya! Yeah, nice.
Oh, woman. Dude, she's got problems, man. Dude, she's got big chewing in. Oh my god.
What? She went in?
What the f?
Davis's parachute failed to deploy properly, sending her into a fatal high-speed impact near the valley floor. The tragedy halted the protests instantly and shocked the outdoor sports community nationwide, and despite hopes that the demonstration would spark reconsideration of the policy, the exact opposite would happen as the National Park Service reinforced and continued its strict ban on base jumping, citing the dangers highlighted by the accident. On January 1st, 2024, chaos unfolded at Salt Lake City International Airport when 30-year-old Kyler Effinger missed his scheduled flight to Denver, allegedly to see his ill grandfather. Surveillance cameras later recorded Kyler moving through the terminal in distress before breaching an emergency exit and making his way onto the restricted airfield and running after the plane, a decision which would end up costing him his life. After running onto the runway, Kyler would be sucked into the turbine of the airplane and ultimately lose his life, turning a desperate attempt to make it to Denver into the worst decision of his life. In November 2015, 50-year-old Michael Marshall, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, was arrested at a motel in Denver on charges of trespassing and disturbing the peace. He was then taken to Denver Downtown Detention Center, where staff noticed he was struggling with mental illness, and over the next few days his condition worsened and he became disoriented, paranoid, and increasingly fragile inside the jail's crowded housing units, causing him to be separated in a guard-secured section known as the Sally Port. But when Marshall would stand up and walk towards the officer, they would command him to sit, but when he refused, the officers would take him down. But Marshall would end up never getting up, as several officers kneeled on his back for minutes as he slowly lost air.
City of Denver will be paying out more than $4 million to settle a lawsuit by the family of Michael Marshall. Marshall is the inmate who died in this scuffle with deputies at the downtown jail 2 years ago.
Michael Marshall attempted to move past deputies in the jail. They pushed him back and restrained him. A spit mask was placed on his head. He threw up and began choking. City officials announced a $4.65 million settlement. It also includes mental health training for deputies. Calling the changes Michael Marshall's rights, the jails will now have full-time, around-the-clock professionals to deal with mental illness.
On July 17, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 took off from Amsterdam, heading for Kuala Lumpur with 298 people on board, and as the aircraft crossed eastern Ukraine, an area already torn by conflict between Ukrainian forces and pro-Russian separatists, it suddenly vanished from the radar. Minutes later, wreckage rained down into a large field, and investigators soon found that the plane had been struck by a Russian-made air missile fired from separatist-controlled territory, causing a catastrophic event for everyone on board.
At the moment, we are on the final stages of our boarding and cargo loading. Once again, do ensure that your phones are also off for the flight to
If an emergency evacuation becomes necessary, leave all your personal belongings behind and proceed to the exit nearest to you. Thank you.
Я понял, там держите оцепление, гражданских не пускайте. Все, давайте, скоро будем. Это гражданский. Оранжевого цвета? Оранжевого, да. Желтый, черный ящик. Давай. Ищи черный ящик, мужики. Малайзия. Иностранцы. Ну да, это... А кто им тут коридор дал? Таня! Гражданский! Давай. Фотографируй. Да, тут Австралия. Да, давай, смотайся своими, бегом. Своими это твой. Ну побери, езжай быстро. А где парасыпной? Где? Да, я тут на самолету сбили, я тут на месте крушения. Это черный ящик. Давай, черный ящик. Вот, смотри. 5 парашютистов выпрыгнуло с этого самолета.
All 298 passengers on board tragically passed away on impact, and this became one of the deadliest aviation attacks in modern history, a moment where geopolitical conflict claimed hundreds of innocent lives in a single devastating instant. High in the mountains of Tajikistan, a paraglider named Amir Farouz set out for what should have been a peaceful flight. But only minutes after takeoff, something went terribly wrong. His canopy began to malfunction, and he began to spin violently in the air, causing Farouz to desperately try and regain control of the situation, all while his camera captured every second of this unfolding disaster and what would be his final moments alive. Despite rescue efforts from friends that were on the scene, The impact was too severe, and Farouz lost his life after hitting his head on the ground, and the footage he recorded now stands as a heartbreaking reminder of how quickly things can turn fatal when equipment fails in the air.